In the previous lesson, we saw how we can create renders using ENSCAPE for RHINO. And we started with Photographic Studio for a product, so like product design. But previously, we worked on some interiors. And also, we saw how we can set up exterior visualization or Archviz. So architectural visualization for exteriors. In this video, we're gonna do an interior, and also we're gonna explore some features about animation in ENSCAPE, which is really easy to do, really fast, considering that it will render a lot of frames, but it's not gonna be like a top quality animation, but good enough for what you need to do in terms of presenting a really quick project. And also you need to be careful on a few things if you don't want to have flickering and other issues while animating. So I open up here the lesson 11. That is the one we're going to work on, and you can see this is a kitchen. All our projects, I'm going to synchronize quickly, and also I show you here that in the exterior, I deactivated the side context because we don't really need that when we are in interiors, of course. So that's good for exterior rendering and like, again, having kind of a small architectural model. But in this case, we don't need it. So the first thing I suggest you to do is like hide everything that is not needed, because it's just going to, make your render heavier and you probably don't need it. So I'm gonna take all this stuff here in the scene, and if I cannot hide stuff from ENSCAPE, I'm gonna do it from RHINO. So I'm gonna just click on this, hide objects, and so things will definitely get a little bit more light. And also all this stuff in the interiors, we're not gonna work on the exteriors. So all the other interiors that we don't see, we can definitely hide all that part, like the bedroom here. So start, by optimizing. Now that I have the command, I just need to right click to hide. And so also all this area here probably, it's too heavy. We don't need it. Okay, I think that's good enough. So let's get into the area of interest, which is the big living room here with the table and the chairs. You can see here I've already put some furniture of the kitchen, and then also some props like people walking around. I'm also going to delete this line here. That's good for the studio. Okay. And so I imported a model here of a kitchen from TurboSquid, which is another website that you can use. We can always fix like materials here and there. So let me show you where you can get this. And also you can see I managed to put the sun inside the room, and also I'm going to show you how you can do it. So first of all, TurboSquid, it's a website where you can get a lot of free assets. This one here is the one that I'm using, and I'm going to show you how to get it, but maybe there's something else and things change. So this one here is in FBX. That's the format we can use. It's also in Blender, so we can download it and open it up in Blender and then export it again in OBJ, FBX, or GLTF. These are the formats that you can use. Now, you need to log in. You need to create an account and log in your account in order to download stuff from TurboSquid. So just search for the site. So TurboSquid, and you go in the main website, or you can go in the free 3D models area directly. And all you need to do is just set up the filter here. You just put 0 if you want free models, but also you can find, models for sale. Here you type what you're looking for. So I'm going to type kitchen, and then I'm going to wait for the results. Okay, so you can see there is a lot of assets here for sale. So let's go into 0 price, apply. And also you can use filter for formats, and if you want only low poly models, etc., etc. Now I'm just going to be more specific here, and I'm going to type modern kitchen and press enter. And again, price 0, apply. And it's down here, but again, you can also find others. So you just click and click on download, and that is going to be in here. So then you can go here and you can download the various files. So I'm going to go with the FBX. Otherwise, again, I can open it up in Blender and then export it again into another format. So I'm going to close TurboSquid. And just to show you quickly how you do this, you can just drag and drop the file, or you can go to File, Import, and select the FBX, which is this one right here. You will also find other video guides on how to use TurboSquid in the channel if you're interested. Now, the only option I'm going to put here is map FBX epsilon to RHINO Z. This usually fixes the rotation problems, but you can always fix it later. So I'm going to go OK, and there you go. You can see it's right there. It's kind of pretty big if you compare it to this other one, which I already scaled. And so what you need to do is, first of all, try to rotate it correctly. So using the gumball or using the rotation tools, you just rotate it, and I rotated this like this. And also, you need to scale it. So what I've done is use the 3D scale and use like this corner as a reference, and then the drawing, the CAD drawing that I had down there to scale it properly. So you click here, just resize it, and make it fit. And this should be like 60 centimeters wide. So once you do that, you probably want to take off everything that you don't need. So just to show you quickly, let me put this aside, and then I'm gonna zoom every views. So I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna zoom, and there you go. So you start to delete stuff you don't need. So all the room here, you don't need it. The ceiling, you don't need it. The lights, you can keep them. And also we have this, which I don't really know what it is. You can keep some, this should be like posters or paintings, which you can keep or you can remove. You can, oops, remove the terrain and remove the window here and the doors. So you don't need all that stuff, etc., etc. So try to clean as much as you can the file, deleting things you don't need and rearranging things you need. And also I just put this in the middle instead that on the side. And once you finish, also the pavement, you don't need it unless you want to create a carpet with that. And then you can just move it down into position and move it inside the room. So make sure that it's perfectly located, not too high, not too low. Use the various views, not only the 3D view, to set it correctly. And when you import these type of files, they also come with materials. So if I render this even in RHINO, we should be able to see the materials. And usually when you import, they are automatically converted into PBR materials, so physically based render materials. And you can convert them again in ENSCAPE. There you go. So you can see that the various textures and materials. If you want to know more, you select something, which everything is a mesh, by the way. And here you can see this is a physically based concrete material, probably like a beam or something. This one here is a wood, again, physically based. So if you want to turn it into ENSCAPE, you select it and you turn it into ENSCAPE. Now, one thing that I've done down here, you can see we have some lights. And also this should be like, this is a plastic painting probably. So I'm going to move it like here. And this is a TV material. So you can actually turn this into a TV. And to do that, you can use physically based. You just need to add the emission material. So I'm going to, you go to detail settings, go to emission. We already done this, but just to recap. And also like lower down the intensity a little bit, and this will become a nice TV material or like an emissive panel. And or you can just take everything, convert it into ENSCAPE, and figure out there how we want to work with that. And this goes for every material. Now, if I want to put an emissive light up there real quick, I can change this metallic white into ENSCAPE material, and then I will go, let me just, okay, here we have the also the view in ENSCAPE. So you can see that they are not emissive right there. They are not projecting light. So every time you put a light, you should put the actual device with an emissive material and then the light that you use to do in RHINO, so with the light panel. Let me just go here in ENSCAPE, and let's go to the material editor, and let's look for that, which is metallic white. So we'll look for the M, and there you go, that's the one. So you just switch it and call it like self-illuminated, and here you need to figure out, oops, I picked the wrong part of the object, but also this is a cool effect. This could be, also something nice. So every object you select, you can turn it into a light if using the emissive material. Okay, now I want to delete all this stuff because I've already done that. So I'm going to delete it, and I already have it in the interior. And actually, I already created also a view. So I'm going to go in the view management, and you can see here I have two views of the kitchen. Just need to unlock the camera from, there you go. So be careful, unlock or desynchronize the camera from RHINO. Okay, and then you can set up your views. So I set up a couple of views of the kitchen. Like one is a little bit closer, one is a little bit like far away, but well, doesn't matter. You can see there down there the kitchen. This is the TV screen. I just like create a really big TV screen out of the one that I had, and then you can see the lights up there, and also the rest of the kitchen. Also, I don't really like this material here of the wood, so let me see how I can fix it. And let's see, here is using the layer material, so it's not working properly, as you can see. So I'm gonna go in the material library, and I'm gonna get a nice wood that doesn't have like lines, just plain wood. So it could be this, for example. So import selection, and or this one, okay, like wood 14, and then apply it to that layer, which is the, let me see, okay, this one here. Okay, I'm gonna change it and apply the last wood I've just downloaded, so wood 14, and this should work better. So be careful on setting up all the materials, all the lights, all the effects once you're ready for your final render. And also here, I want this to be wood 14. I'm gonna make it a little darker, with the red, maybe. Okay. So try to fix it. And what about the lights? So the lights, artificial lights, so emissive material, we already done that. Artificial lights, you can see I put some props and hang in there. So all those props, they come from the asset editor. So you can see here I put 3 lights, and also inside I put 3-point lights. because remember, these don't actually emit light. And also here, I put other 3 lights, and the same goes, for the OmniLight. Now, when you want to put a series of lights, one thing you can do is, for example, if I need to put like 3-point lights in here, I can put one, and this goes also for the props that I'm using. There you go. That's a big one. So let's fix it. Let's find the properties for this light. Let's make it, way dimmer. Let's dim it down. Okay. And then you can do an array. So you can use, for example, the linear array. And this is going to be 3. Press enter. And then first reference point is going to be the middle of that first one. And then go to the next one. So you automatically put 3-point lights in there, so they look a little bit more realistic. Now, the problem with the props that you import, not like meshes, but like from the asset editor, is that you cannot like modify them. You cannot edit them. You can just scale them like this, but they will not look good. So I cannot like extend this and make it this wire and bring it to the ceiling. So there's a little limit for that. But anyway, if you do a really close shot like this, it doesn't matter. You won't see the difference. Okay, so also I want to apply some, well, here I want to apply the safe frame and also the 2 points. And you may want to have a look always to the visual settings. So again, if you want an architectural model, you can use this. And projection, 2 points. Auto exposure, you can decide if you want to use that or define your own quantity of exposure. So try to balance, again, everything. Field of view, you can adjust. Field of view. Depth of field, yeah, you can definitely use it also here. And define a focal point. So like in the front or in the back. So in this case, probably we want to focus more in the front and maybe increase a little bit, not too much, the depth of field to have a little bit more extra reliance. And then image. Saturation, I think is fine, but you can increase or decrease the colors. Temperature. You want a colder or warmer temperature. Motion blur is about the animation. So this works in the animation. So you can increase the blurriness of movements. Lens flare also, we can see it in here coming from the sun. So coming from that big window. Bloom also, you can increase it, but probably not too much. Otherwise, well, it's the effect also of a portal light to have a little glow around the areas of the openings, and also a little bit of vignetting and definitely chromatic aberration to simulate camera defects and make things more interesting. You probably don't want to use the fog here because we are not in an exterior, so you probably don't need it, even though the fog creates, you can see like a little bit of God rays effects, which could be interesting, but they usually don't use it. Sun brightness, yeah. Also in the interiors, you can change the sun brightness because the sun here comes into play coming from that window. So you can also use only the sun and turn off all the artificial light brightness, or you can balance them together with the exposure. So it's all a matter of finding the good balance. That's it. Wind, again, for the animation. So we don't really care about this here, but for the animation, yes. The background, we have desert. We can change anytime, put any background, a town or whatever, or put a white background and save in the output. If you save the alpha channel with a PNG, you can put any background that you want using Photoshop or any other graphic design application. the video, you can set up the compression quality. So if you want something smaller and lighter, email. If you want something really big and lossless. So let's do something in between. Frame per second, 24 is fine. But if you want more quality, and you can increase, especially if you want to do slow motion, like in After Effects or Premiere Pro, whatever software for video editing. And panorama, we're going to talk about this later. So the sky, again, you can adjust the clouds and all the stuff we saw previously for the exteriors. So this only matters if you have like a big window you can see outside. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter how you set up all of this stuff. And that's it. So always have a quick look to the visual settings because they are important. So there you go. Now we have a nice balance of light. Portals, I think they're good. Like this one here is a portal that I put exactly where that, let me show you here, where the window is. So I created a rectangle light in RHINO and just put it exactly there. You can put it immediately outside the window, but gonna be less intense, or immediately inside. And they will create kind of a glow again around that area that should come from the exterior. Of course, don't exaggerate. This should be just slightly visible. So everywhere you have like a window or something like that, you should put one of these. Like also I put one here that's pretty big, so I can make it a little bit smaller and put it in there. So it represents that light coming from the outside. And again, don't exaggerate. You want this to be nice and mild. And for the sun, to adjust the sun, you can use the sun panel right here. So you can set it up in ENSCAPE using Shift and right click, and then Control U and I to change the way that it's gonna come inside your scene, and also Shift U and I for the sunset, for example, if you want to really low. And well, actually this creates a beautiful rim light backlight for this subject. So think about also the 3-point lighting as well, or you can also use this right here. So this is day and night. Quickly you can switch from day into night, and then time of the year, etc., etc. So once you get it right, you can proceed with the animation. Now you can find the animation up here in the home, so video editor, or if you expand this a little bit, it should appear now on the top. There you go. So you have all the various buttons on the top. So that's the video editor. And let's open it up. And with the video editor, you can just create a really complex walkthrough, or you can go on the outside and just see the video like a drone flying on top of your scene, and also changing the sun position will create a beautiful time-lapse renderings, or you can use it like for really subtle animation inside. So let's see how it works. Video path. Basically, we are creating a video path. You can show also the lines right here, and let's focus on the subject here, which is the dining area. So there you go. And okay, so ease in, ease out. This is for the animation. When it starts and when it finishes, it's gonna slowly decrease or slowly increase. Shaky camera, if you want to simulate something more realistic in terms of walking around with the camera. And down here, we need to define the keyframes. So let's do something really, really simple. I'm just gonna go back here, like to the beginning of the room, and then I'm gonna set the first keyframe. Down here, we click on the plus, and this is our first keyframe. Then I'm gonna move, and I'm gonna choose like an ending point. Let's say I wanna end like exactly right here. Okay, and so I'm gonna press and the plus and create the ending point. Now you can always create more, like at the beginning, in the middle, or after. So if I want to proceed, like example, arrive here to this part of the kitchen, and you can see also how the depth of field is working here. So again, I can press. So this now becomes 3 keyframes, and I can move with the keyframes pressing with this button. Okay, and now we have 8 seconds animation. Now, if I select the keyframes, so if I move between the keyframes, I can also change the camera position and update anytime. I can also, let me go to the first one. I can animate the time of the day, the focal point, and the field of view. So now the focal point could be like really close, for example, here. But then when I move to the next one, again, also you have the timestamp. Okay, so this is 3 seconds. We can make it like 5. And then time of the day, let's change also the time of the day. So maybe I want to go into the night, or like sunset. So you can see that everything will be animated. And then again, field of view also. So if you want a closer, like telescopic or more panoramic view. And let's move to the next. Okay, so here I want to again animate everything. So let's have a closer field of view. You can see the reflections there because now it's night. So let me change that, and let's move forward into the day after. Okay, so we have now, this is a day, time of day 8 a.m. Timestamp, let's put like 15. So this means I am making the animation longer, and it's going to be less fast. So it's going to be slower, but also you're going to have more keyframes to render. So it's going to take more time. And then you can anytime go back, play out the entire animation. You can see that effect, the strange effect that comes from the changing of the field of view. And again, you can also play a lot with the focal point. And you can see also the time of the day is changing. And then again, we have the day again. So you can play a lot with this. I just make some examples just to show you. Once you finish, you click on export. You can choose the resolution. You can choose the frame per second. I'm going to put 24 to be quick. Resolution is the custom output resolution, or you can choose the basic ones and then export. And you can see I already created one, so I'm going to create another one, and it's going to be called like animation, and MP4 is going to be the format. Save everything and just wait for the video to be exported. Of course, you can change it anytime. Up here, you have this little menu, which is not openable right now, but essentially here you have the possibility to eliminate the path, which is the path of the walkthrough inside your project, or you can also save it. You can save the path externally, and you can load the path when you need it, so that you can create more than one and just save them, store them in a separate file. And this will be all for this lesson. So if you like it, please subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support us, thank us, join the channel as a supporter and check out other video courses in video editing and video animation, rendering, etc., etc. So let's have a look to the animation. This is the path, by the way, that I saved, so I can retrieve that walkthrough. And this is the animation, so looking pretty good. A little bit of flickering there, probably due to the sun movement. So try not to, mess too much. But overall, it looks good, pretty fine, pretty fast. So thanks, see you in the next.